Hi friends, welcome back to Mish Reads. I've got a bit of a chatty reading update for you guys, along with a haul of some books and some bookish things. So let's just get right into it. So the first thing I have to show you, it's inside out because I wore it this week. It is this t-shirt, Spoons, Oregon, not to be confused with Forks, Washington, of course referring to Tara DeWitt's world that she has created in Spoons, Oregon for her books, Savor It and Left of Forever, my all-time favorites. She linked her merch store on Instagram and I was immediately influenced, but also this is a Comfort Colors t-shirt, so very, very high quality, and I know I'm going to be getting a lot of wear out of this, so yeah, this was just a really fun thing to grab and also support one of my favorite authors. Then I was on the hunt for a new Kindle case, and so I was looking at Paige the Shop. I love all of her prints, but as I was digging into the information on her cases, I believe only one of her case styles right now has a strap. All the other ones don't have straps. So I still would love to support that shop eventually because, like I said, I love all her prints, but I'll wait until maybe she launches a line where all of her cases have straps. So I went on Etsy and this was the only one I found that fit my specific criteria. There were two things I wanted. I wanted an interior strap to be on the back, but then I also wanted it to magnetize to the back so that when you hold the strap, the whole thing is in one piece. Because a lot of these cases have the strap on the back, but they're not magnetized to the back. So those were my two criteria. But yeah, I wanted a case that had some full coverage protection. I've always been a pop socket girly and never had a full all-around case. I'm still getting used to how heavy this has made my Kindle, but in the name of not supporting Amazon, I just don't want to have to buy another Kindle. And I also, at least at this point in time in my life, I'm not heavily reading enough on my Kindle to justify buying a more expensive e-reader, even though I would love to buy one of the books e-readers. I just cannot justify it. And so I want to keep my Kindle safe. So mission accomplished with this guy. I will link the Etsy shop below if you're interested because, like I said, even though I wasn't like super hella jazzed by this print, it is cute and it kind of matches my purse actually. I have this embroidered bagu, so that's kind of fun. But yeah, it does the bag. It's magnetized and has the strap. So that's a win. And then let's get on to books. So my aardvark box came in and very excited. I decided to cancel Book of the Month. I made a whole video about it. I think it's in my shorts. I'll double check if it's not there, but I canceled it in May because I haven't been reading my Book of the Month books because I haven't been that interested in the titles. And then I did more of a deep dive on them as a company and was very upset to see all of the controversy around how they handled calls to action around the diversity of their books. So that put a bad taste in my mouth. The fact that they featured American Dirt, I had no idea that they'd done that. That put a bad taste in my mouth. And then it was after I canceled, but really affirmed that choice when I saw that they featured James Frey for June. So yeah, just fuck that, fuck AI. So happy to be done with Book of the Month. Takes some pressure off of my monthly TBRs, but jazzed to be continuing to support Aardvark because so far they seem to be just a very thoughtful company in the way that they support debut authors and diverse authors, and they just put so much work into their marketing and building community that it's just a really fun community to be a part of. So go ahead and join Aardvark if you're looking for a book subscription because also the quality of their hardbacks is just way, way better. So anyway, my June Aardvark books, see the beginning of this video. I love Tara DeWitt. So when they featured her, not only with a hardback, but with a signed edition, yeah, I had to get it. So that's mine, even though I've already read it. And then I also could not help myself. I grabbed the Devils because when you add on a book in Aardvark, they're only $10 each. So a $30 hardback for $10? Yes, yes, please. And then the book that I actually am planning on reading this month is Starving Saints by Caitlin Starling. This is a sapphic gothic horror, seems incredible. And then this is a beautiful gold foiled special edition. So really couldn't go wrong. Then I had a pre-order come in that I had semi-forgotten about. Basically, I got really nostalgic. Oh my god, I have hair on my face. Okay. I had gotten really nostalgic about some books I read as a teenager. Oh my god, it's still there. Life with Cats. Okay, anyway, I had gotten really nostalgic about books I'd loved as a teenager. One of those series was the Shiver series by Maggie Stiefvater. And so I was like looking into what she had done. And then I realized that The Raven Boys, that everyone raves about, that I still need to read at some point, was also written by her. And so once I saw she was coming out with a new book, The Listeners, I was like, well, hell yeah, let me see what she's up to these days. This doesn't look like it's anything like any of those two series, so maybe don't get too excited if you love those two series. But this is a historical fiction / love story about World War I, World War II, one of the wars, and it was blurbed by Chris Whitaker, who wrote All the Colors of the Dark, and that was one of my top 10 reads of 2024. So this will probably go directly onto my TBR wheel if I'm being completely honest, because I just don't think that I'm going to be making time to read it anytime soon. But I'm excited to read it eventually, and we'll let you know once I do read it. Then, very exciting for this month or for this week, Barrier Bones and the Midnight Soil came out. Very excited to read this, and I'm particularly excited. I'm planning on doing an immersion read because two of the narrators are ones that I really love. So we have Julia Whalen, who's an incredible narrator, but then another one of them is the actress, I'll put her name on screen, sorry, who voiced Caitlin in Arcane. So hell yeah. Just really racking it up with the sapphic references here, but excited to get to this. I also picked up from Thrift Books Gideon the Ninth, which I finished last month, but I wanted a physical copy. And then I picked up Harrow, so hopefully I'll be getting to this soon because I love this book and I was so blown away by the ending that I'm very excited to read this. But the thing that has been absolutely capturing all of my attention the past couple of weeks is The Realm of the Elderlings. So I read Assassin's Apprentice and I absolutely loved it. It was so good, such a strong introduction into this series. It's a little bit slow, but I can already tell the payoff is going to be so incredible with the time that Robin is taking to create these characters. I can just tell that the emotional impacts of everything with these characters is going to be so strong. So yeah, I had an incredible reading experience with this first book. And I'm trying this thing where I only buy the next book that I need instead of like going out and buying a whole series all at once. And that kind of kicked me in the ass because I ordered books 2 and 3 in the Farseer trilogy. I ordered them on May 31st. And there was an issue with UPS. They started in Denver, which is where I live. And then they went missing for a couple of days. And then they ended up in Kansas City, Missouri. And so on Tuesday of this week, which was what? The 10th. So finally on the 10th, so almost 12 days after I ordered, on the evening of the 10th, they finally showed up on my doorstep. And this was like 4 days after I had finished Assassin's Apprentice. So I was like kicking myself. But yeah, I've been getting into Royal Assassin and really enjoying it. Happy to be back with Fitz. Looking forward to continuing. I'm kind of binging these three because the Chris and Mads Patreon is going to be reading Ship of Magic in July. But it's a good problem to have to be reading these books. I'm just really enjoying them. But that does mean that I'm falling behind on some of my other goals for the month. So the Chris and Mads Patreon this month is reading Emma, and I'm finding it really hard to get into. We're trying. I'm giving it the old college try. I'm really trying, but I gotta say, it's not captivating me as much as I was hoping it would. It's my first Jane Austen, so I don't know. I'm gonna finish it. I'm gonna make myself finish it because I want to have read it. It was on my physical TBR. I'm just struggling a little bit, and I think part of it is just because there's other things that I'm more excited to read. So, such is life. What else did I read this week? Oh, I read King of Ashes, came out on Tuesday by S.A. Cosby, and I loved it so much. I love all of his books, but in particular, I love his narrator, Adam Lazar White. He brings to life his characters so incredibly well. His voice is incredible, and it just is the perfect match made in heaven of the Southern Gothic noir style and his rich, deep voice is just perfect. But King of Ashes is slightly different. So I liked it, but not quite as much as his others. I did a ranking in a TikTok video. So we'll just speed run through that right now. At 5, I put My Darkest Prayer. At 4, I put Blacktop Wasteland. At 3, I put King of Ashes. At 2, I put Razorblade Tears, and at 1, I put All the Sinners Bleed. So that's my ranking for his books. And the reason I think King of Ashes was more middle of the road for me is in all of his other books, the men that he writes are men of action. They're the ones sort of getting their hands dirty. They're the ones thrust into these tense situations and having to grapple their way out of it. And Roman in King of Ashes is this highly educated, incredibly smart man who does a lot more puppet master, like plotting and scheming. And so while that was really interesting, and I found Roman a very well written, very compelling character, a lot of stuff was kept off page from us and sort of revealed in more surprising ways. And the strength of this book, I think, was in the themes and in the familial connections. Um, because what I did miss a little bit was getting some of that problem solving and like tense and those tense moments of trying to figure out what to do. And I think there could have been a way that he could have showed us some of that problem solving and like working the problem for Roman, but he clearly wanted to write a character that you believed was intelligent and could handle things. And the moments of tension were actually created by all the characters around him doing things out of his control and making choices that he didn't anticipate. And so it was just a bit of a different read. By no means was it a bad book. I think that I'm going to rate it like a 4.25. And yeah, the only reasons that Razorblade Tears and All the Sinners Bleed rank higher is just because I had such a stronger emotional connection to those characters. But I will say, I won't say who, but someone from one of these four other books makes an appearance in King of Ashes, and I loved it. I loved getting to see this person again. It was so satisfying, and I've been waiting for like a crossover from his books because he writes either in the DC area or in down in like the Newport News area of Virginia. That's where all of his books are set. And so um in that swath of area of Virginia along basically like I-64, um I was just waiting for like someone to crop up and have a little cameo. And so we finally get one. And let me know if I'm wrong about that, if there's any other cameos that I missed. But I think that was the first one and it was really fun to see because it was one of the characters that I really, really liked. So that was fun. But yeah, I listened to that and just had a great time. For my Spin the Wheel challenge, I'm working my way through Mine Till Midnight by Lisa Kleypas. I'm like 25% through of the way through, I think. And this always cracks me up. I have Sam and Dean. My brother got this for me at Comic-Con last year, I think. Sam and Dean and Baby. And Cass in the background. Supernatural is just one of my all-time favorite shows, even though it is at times not that great. I have such an emotional connection to it. But yeah, Sam and Dean have gotten to go into so many different worlds, and it just kind of cracks me up when I put them in like a historical romance. That's silly, but I don't know. There you go. There's my bookmark. But yeah, this is good. The main male character is of Romani descent, and so I am sort of keeping an eye on the way that a white woman is characterizing and representing and sexualizing a non-white character, and so that may make this not be one of my favorite of hers, but it's still solid for what it is because it's like Lisa Kleypas. This is now my third book I'm reading of hers because last weekend I'm sorry I'm rambling so much, but last weekend I read finished Cold Hearted Rake and then read Marrying Winterborn, and those two were so good. So yeah, I think coming off the high of Marrying Winterborn, I'm having a little bit harder time getting into this. And also, I think I just need to take a baby break from the historical romance as much as I love Lisa Kleypas. I don't always love reading the same thing back to back to back to back to back. I like to mix it up and read different genres. But yeah, by no means is this a bad book. I'm still really liking it. What else am I reading? What else am I doing? I don't know. I think today I'm going to try and make as much progress as I possibly can on Royal Assassin because I have until the end of June to read through this and Assassin's Quest. For fun, let's see how many pages that is. 679. This is blurbed by Lin-Manuel Miranda and an incredible series. Sorry, I just saw that. Who knew? 854. Let's do some math. 1,533 pages. I think I can do it. I read fast. And I've also been immersion reading, which I just thought initially when I heard people talk about immersion reading, I thought the hook for that was just to create like an ambiance, especially if it's got like a full cast or like a really good narrator. What I'm finding is I'm already a fast reader, but immersion reading is even making me a faster reader. I can put the audiobook at like a 2.25 speed and sometimes even faster depending on the narrator, and then read along with it. And because you are listening to it at that speed, but also reading it, my comprehension is, I would say, near perfect. Like I immersion read Rage of Dragons in about a day and a half, and that's a pretty chunky book, and I don't feel like I missed anything. Whereas sometimes listening at too fast of a speed, I don't absorb it, but the combination of listening to it and reading it, I feel like I'm just getting it really solidly in there. Almost better, I would say, than if I just physically read it. So if you're nervous about trying that out, or if you feel like it's going to make you rush through a book and not enjoy it as much, for me at least, it's been the opposite. It has really created a really enjoyable reading experience. I'm having a really fun time reading books that way. And I don't know, like I did it with Assassin's Apprentice and I also annotated it, and this is one of my favorite reading experiences I think I've had all year round. And I do think a large part that is because of Robin Hobb and her writing and me discovering a series that I'm going to love. But I also think it's because of the immersion reading. So let me know if you guys immersion read and what you think of that. But it's kind of my new favorite thing. So yeah, I'm gonna go read. I hope you guys are having a great weekend. But yeah, I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye!